All right, mics are on. Right, I think we're there. Good evening, guys. Good evening, YouTube. How are you? This is the first in, well, let's hope a long line of live streams from the FPL family. I tell you what, it's been a stressful last half an hour, isn't it? It's been stressful. We are literally, so I'm doing this on a shoestring, guys, right? I got some dodgy, not dodgy, but I bought an app off the iOS store that turns your iPhone into a webcam. I've got OBS running, which is open source, so that didn't cost me anything. So we've got this whole setup here, but we are nowhere near as professional as anybody else out there on YouTube. We are doing this right on a shoestring. Anything could happen tonight, guys. As I was saying on Twitter before, this could be really, really good. It could be an absolute car crash. Either way, we promise it'll be entertaining. So thank you for joining us.
That's a big promise.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, we get good feedback normally, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, it's a big promise. So I can just about see there's a few people in the chat. So, hey, Physio, how you doing? Dom's in there. Hey, Dom, how are you? I'll tell you what, I'm actually looking at, you see guys, I'm really inexperienced. I'm looking at this small live chat. I need to go to, here we go. I don't think that affects the stream if I do that. Guys, honestly, bear with us tonight. Bear with us. This is going to be, this could be really flaky.
Well, I can't even read that, so so you're just going to have to tell me what it says.
FPL Batman, good evening. How are you doing? How are you doing? Thanks for joining us, guys. Good evening, good evening. Have you got your cups of tea ready? We've got the tea sorted here. Sam's got a mug. I've got my lucky Mickey Mouse mug, which actually worked all right for us last weekend, didn't it? Bournemouth beat Liverpool. Oh no, didn't work so well for Spurs, did it? Didn't work so well for Spurs. No, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We'll talk about that later on.
You might make Christmas if you carry on.
Greetings from Finland. Vesku, how are you doing? How are you doing? Good to see you. Carmel, good evening. How are you doing? Guys, great to see you all. Really, thank you all for joining our very first live stream. What we plan to do is kind of do these more going forward, actually, because we really hope that we get some interaction going with you guys. It's kind of nice interacting with each other in a weekly video, but actually we want to talk to the community more, don't we? We want to get out there, we want to hear what you guys are thinking about in terms of transfers.
I get bored of just hearing about what you think.
Oh, come off it. You can't dig me out live on YouTube.
I am. So you said it would be entertaining.
I've just noticed actually in the stream, look, if you look at this, so this is what's going out live. You're on the left and I'm on the right. Is that what normally happens? Is that right? Because you can always flip it like this, look.
I think I'm
actually, I literally daren't touch it.
I don't know where I normally am.
You're normally on that side, right?
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, this is fine. This is fine. This is fine. Cool. God, blimey, there's some questions coming through already that are really, really flaky, guys. Crouch or De Poitre or Quanier? Oh, goodness me.
Is there an option for none of the above?
None of the above. Goodness me. Right, well, we'll come to that in a bit. What we'll do, guys, as usual, so this is our
You've
preview.
even done your little, I'm Lee, this is Sam.
Yes. Welcome to the FPL family. I'm Lee, this is Sam.
It's game week 19.
Go on, you do it. Do you know what? I'm just so happy that the technology's working because literally 5 minutes ago I was sitting here and I just tweeted out, I put a tweet saying that my bloody Windows 10 laptop decided to do some updates, so that was going on as well. I got the whole blue screen and the wait, and I was like, oh no. So it was all literally going wrong. But anyway, forget all of that. As usual, as you've come to expect from the FPL family, this is complete waffle and indeed nonsense. So welcome to our very first live stream. My name is Lee, this is Sam. We are going to be previewing game week 19.
We are.
And what episode of the FPL family is this? Episode
29.
29. Are we going to keep, do we go back to 1 now? Or is this episode 29?
Don't confuse it.
This could be like L1 for like live. No,
just
episode 29. Cool, episode 29.
People know where they are.
Great questions coming in, guys. Oh yeah, by the way, so we hit 600 subs earlier today.
Yes, we did.
600 subs, guys. That is awesome. Thank you so much for all your support. And actually, the question that's been asked just after Mikhail there said 600 subs: Kane exit or Kane remain? There's a big thing on Twitter going at the moment about Kane's it versus Kane remain, which was kind of kicked off by Jay Eggersdorf. You guys that follow Jay on Twitter, if you don't, definitely follow him. He's probably, well, I think the stats do show he's probably he's the best FPL player out there, right? Over a course of a number of seasons, he's some very, very good ranks. So if you're not following Jay already, get onto his Twitter account and indeed onto his YouTube channel, because he's got a YouTube channel. So follow him on there as well. And he was talking about the fact that he took a 12-point hit, I think last week, not for this game week, but last game week, and he took Kane out as part of that 12-point hit. And then he buffed up his midfield and buffed up the defence. And actually, he's a real Kane exiteer. So I'd love to hear from you later, because you are definitely a Kane Remainer, aren't you? I am too, by the way, but...
Well, also, given that Morata's suspended for this game week, I mean...
Yeah, I think that's it, isn't it? It's kind of like, well, you kind of got not much choice, but... Well, I haven't got not much choice, but to stick with Kane right now, because we've got so many other fires to put out.
You say it like it's a bad thing.
It's definitely not. It's definitely not. And actually, Tarkowski's not playing for Burnley this weekend.
That's correct.
So that's something we've got to cover later on. So, as usual, guys, we will do the game week preview. So we'll go game by game. We'll give our view on it, and then we'll cut over to the chat whenever we can. If you guys have got some questions about that particular game, then fire away, and we will address those as we go through. But then the bit where we really want to interact with you guys is... I kept doing that. I keep looking at my laptop. I've got to stop looking at my laptop. There's the viewfinder, right? Engage with the audience, not with the chat. Right. So when I really want to hear from you guys is when we do our transfers and our captains and our jammy picks.
I've just realised I haven't got a jammy pick.
You need to sort that out.
I need to sort that out.
You need to sort that out right now.
I'll come up with one as this
You've got something on your lip as well.
Oh, have I?
There you go.
What is
it? A bit
it?
of chocolate from earlier or something.
Do you know what? I don't even know what... It's a bit of my pen.
Beautiful.
Is that bad that I broke my
FPL Family
pen?
first. So anyway, where do you want to start with these fixtures? Because there are some pretty tasty fixtures.
Well, let's
first thing to say, by the way, deadline is Friday.
Start at the beginning with the Friday night game, shall we?
Good. I won't cut across you anymore, darling.
No. Start at the beginning with the Friday night game, Arsenal versus Liverpool.
Go on then. So give us your views on that. What are you thinking? Which FPL players have you got first and foremost in your team?
Salah.
As we all have, I think. Yeah. Oh yeah, you're doubled up, aren't you?
Double Liverpool.
Okay.
So
how does that make you feel going to the Emirates with double Liverpool?
Yeah. Happy?
Confident? Are you happy with that, right?
I'm always confident with my Liverpool attack. If I had Liverpool defenders, I would be confident. But Liverpool attacking players, I'm always confident with them. Firmino on the back of a good game last week. Salah on the back of every good game. Yeah, totally. Well, I think also, if you look at the history of these games, there tends to be... It's a bit generally speaking, I guess, but it tends to be quite a lot of goals between Liverpool and Friday
Arsenal.
night games tend to be quite high scoring as well.
There have been so far this season, yeah, but certainly Arsenal-Liverpool games in the past have been high scoring. I remember when there was a game when Arshavin got 4, if you remember, guys, and that was like really hard for me to take. And then there was a game at Anfield a couple of seasons ago when we blitzed them in the first sort of 30 minutes, and it was 3 or 4-0 before you knew it. So that it tends to be goals in these sorts of games. I put a jinx on it now. It'd be 0-0, but it tends to be goals.
I hope not. I'm looking forward to it.
I think it'd be a really good game. And actually, if you look at Liverpool's or look at our last 4 away games, I tweeted this earlier. We've actually won them all. I think it's the last 4 or last 3. I think it might be the last 3. We've won our last 3 away games by a score of more than 3 goals.
Yes, the first time I read a statistic about being the first time you've done that in a long time.
Well, I'd be surprised if it's the first time. I'd be surprised if it's not the first time anyone's ever done something like that. I mean, so I can't remember the teams. Bournemouth, Stoke, and maybe was it West Ham? I think I remember the 3 games. But anyway, so what I'm trying to say is I think that we'll come to what I think is the standout game this game week for captain choice at Man City. We'll come to that game next, I think. But for sure, I think there's goals in Liverpool Arsenal, and I'm considering captaining Salah. So are you considering captaining Salah, or have you got some Man City players that you think are going to be better assets this game? Well,
that's going to give away my transfers for the week. However,
okay.
So if I leave the Man City question out of it for now, I was having a chat with somebody on Instagram earlier about whether to captain somebody out of that Liverpool game, and I just kind of feel it's got potential to be high scoring, but at the same time, could it be one of those games that we all kind of go, oh, that's going to be a really great game, and actually it becomes a bit of a non-event on a Friday night. I don't know.
Maybe.
I mean, Salah, let's be honest, I captained him last week. That paid off for me royally. Yeah, he's always a captain option for me at the moment.
I think he is, and as Jay's saying in chat, right, we'll do Morata to Firmino. I think that's going to be a...
No, don't do that. He's my differential. Stop it.
Don't all copy Sam.
Stop it, Jay. Otherwise, I'll have a go at him for it.
So I think that's a reasonable transfer, Morata to Firmino.
Well, you would. Are you doing it?
No, I'm not, because I'm holding Morata. We'll come to that a bit later on. I'm holding him because I think the fixtures look good going forward. The next 2 are at home against what I would consider to be good opposition for him to score against. So I'm going to go into next game week happy that I've got him and Hazard, I think.
Okay.
The one downside, I guess, is that with Morata not playing, as we said on one of these vlogs, I think maybe the last one we did, was that I think that negatively impacts Hazard. So when Morata's not there, Morata's kind of that workhorse, a bit like Firmino actually, a bit like we said this in the last vlog, right? So he works really hard to create space and time for the guys on the wings, and that benefits them a lot. Benefits Hazard, benefits whoever's on the other side. As soon as Hazard goes in the middle, he becomes the workhorse, and it benefits. I don't know, Alonso probably, and Pedro and Willian, all those sorts of people. So maybe we'll come to the Morata thing later on. In terms of the Liverpool-Arsenal game, last word on it is, I think there's goals. I think if you've got, obviously, if you've got Salah, I think obviously going to play him. If you've got Firmino, I think you definitely play him. If you've got Arsenal defenders, do you play with those guys? TinTas95, first new subscriber to come out of our live streams. Hey, welcome.
I wouldn't be... I would bet on goals for both sides in that game.
That's a good shout. Yeah.
So I wouldn't be necessarily... Unless you've got a defender who you think is likely to score from Arsenal or Liverpool.
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily want a defender from either side.
And what do you take on what's your make on Kolasinac, by the way? So he's been dropped couple of games.
Last couple.
And it's not because of an injury, because he played in the Carabao Cup during the week.
Which makes me think he won't play again at the weekend.
So he's not played the last couple of games in the league, and Wenger's actually he's gone with Maitland-Niles, I think is the kid's name at the back there, who's clearly a very good defender because they've kept 2 clean sheets, but he's probably quite inexperienced.
Yeah.
He's going to be coming up against that Liverpool front three, the Fab Four, as it's now being named.
Chamberlain in this.
He's got some time to go. But listen, I think Ox is really improving, right? So that's a whole nother vlog to talk about Ox. He's really improving. People on the chat, Nico, come on, Liverpool are not due a flop. Come on, and that won't be at the Emirates. Come on.
I hope not. I'll have a bad Christmas if they flop tomorrow night.
I'll have a bad Christmas if I'll be turning out the Grinch.
That's what I mean. I'll have to put up with you.
So I genuinely think there's goals in that. I think Salah and Mane and those guys could have some joy against Maitland-Niles and some of the other guys at the back there. But I'm with you. I think there's goals on both sides. Sanchez, we've mentioned this before, he's a bit of an enigma. Lots and lots of rumour about where he's going in January, potentially going to City. So it could be a big loss for Arsenal. Or the way he's playing, actually, maybe it's not. I don't know. But Ozil seems to be on form as well. So yes, goals on both sides. I think I agree with you on that one. I agree with you. So on to the next game. Let's talk about where we go next.
Where did you want to go next? Did you want to go to...
Well, do you want to just go City? Let's get that done and out of the way because and Tesso, by the way, my Liverpool bias is shown. You're absolutely right.
It's
very difficult for me to not show my Liverpool bias. It's actually, you're lucky I'm not wearing my shirt. Actually, should have thought about that. If it wasn't for the technical issues we were having, literally right up until 8 o'clock, I'd have gone upstairs and changed into my shirt. Next time, guys. Next time. But you're right. If you want to see some team bias, wait till we get to the Spurs game. The Spurs goggles will be on. So let's talk about City. For me, I think this is the standout game for the game week. If you're looking for FPL points, get on Man City. Bournemouth look shocking. Their away form is really bad. City look amazing. Go on. What do you think? Am I crazy to suggest anything otherwise?
No, I don't think you are. I think the key issue for me with City at the moment is Silva. Obviously, still no real word on Silva in terms of what's going on.
A few guys on the chat are asking, is Silva fit?
Yeah, so it's not fitness, it's all they've said so far is personal issues. There's a lot of rumour about baby news and that sort of thing, but it all sounds very negative, whatever it is. Yeah. So last I read, he was in Valencia.
He's in Spain sorting out whatever these issues are, correct. Isn't he? So it doesn't feel like he's going to play at the weekend, does it?
No, I don't think we'll see him. I wouldn't expect to see him Boxing Day either, which is why I've done one of the transfers that I've done this week. I think he went down in value last night. I would expect between now and Boxing Day for him to drop again, because I think he's not, until there's word that he's back in the country.
And I think that sudden drop is because people have got Silva, like you and I had Silva, and they're looking at it and going, well, I was looking at it, so I was looking at it going, well, Silva's not going to play. I like Pogba, so I really like Pogba for Christmas. We're going to talk about our transfers later on. Pogba for Christmas.
Under the tree.
That should be a hashtag, shouldn't it? Pogba for Christmas. I think Pogba's a really great option for over the Christmas period, and he's a really good transfer in this game week. But if I did Silva to Pogba, I'm going into that Man City Bournemouth game with no City players, and that, guys, is pretty frightening. I think you've got to have one, if not two, Man City defenders. What are you thinking about a midfield double up potentially?
Well, I've got Otamendi as well.
Oh, obviously. So you have, okay.
So I've got Otamendi and I had Silva. Well, I might as while we're talking about this, and I've now got Sterling just because it was the obvious transfer, Silva to Sterling.
Nice comment by Dom J, by the way. So Dom is saying if no Silva, it means KDB further forward and more dangerous. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. So I looked at KDB, and I really toyed between doing KDB, upgrading Silva to KDB. My issue was...
the money to do that? Or?
No. So my issue was I needed to make 2 transfers to do that. That's fine because I have 2 transfers this week. However, I just felt a little bit like I would be making transfers that I would want to reverse eventually. So ideally...
So you'd want Silva back at some stage?
At some stage.
Yeah, I think I would go with that too.
Back.
Yeah.
So do I want to make lots of transfers in order to bring in KDB, to then have to undo that again to get Silva back? Whereas the Sterling thing, it's a straight swap really. He's a little bit more money, but it's nothing
You've
major.
given away your transfer there, haven't you?
I have, yeah. I already said I've given it away.
That's what you've done, Silva to Sterling this week.
That's what I've done so far. I've done 1 so far.
Okay.
So
and also that, for me, I mean...
It's just logical to me, that.
I was about to say that's a sideways move, and I guess it is, but
I
it's
couldn't
logical.
go into that. I can't go into that game. I don't want to go into that game without an attacking City
with just
player.
Otamendi.
I mean, Otamendi's great. He could score me a goal, fine. Hopefully he'll keep me a clean sheet. But I wanted a proper attacking City player in for that
absolutely
team.
right. Absolutely right. And you didn't fancy the upgrade to De Bruyne because he has looked on fire.
Well, I do, of course. But the trouble is that he's significantly more money. So in order to do that, I've got to find some money.
Okay.
That probably meant getting rid of Morata. I did this before last night.
Okay.
So before Morata got suspended. Now, on the back of that leads me into another conversation, which we can talk about later, as to what I'm doing about Morata. However, I just felt that I didn't want to disrupt my whole team to get in KDB. It was the same as we talked about it before with Hazard.
Okay, cool. All right. So, So I'm not doubling up either. I'm sticking with one Man City midfielder. We'll talk about transfers later on, but it's obviously not Silva. I'll get rid of Silva, but I'll let you know whether it's a sideways move or an upgrade later on, because that's the piece I'm toying with.
Have you done it?
I haven't done it yet, and the reason I haven't done it was because I could do straight to Sterling. I've got the money to do straight to Sterling.
So you can copy me.
I'm waiting to hear what the guys are going to say on the live chat. So it's either a sideways to Sterling or do exactly what you've just said. Get some money out of Morata, probably for Firmino. But maybe not, and then upgrade to KDB. But listen, we're getting ahead of ourselves as usual on the FPL family. We are talking about transfers. It's really hard to not just get into transfers because that's the interesting piece, isn't it?
All right. Right. So I think what we're saying is that we think Man City are going to win that game quite substantially, and you should have City forward coverage. Yeah. Unless anybody thinks differently. No,
well, I think you're absolutely right. By the way, Physio, so good point. So we do need mods. We do need mods to get rid of these silly comments. This is something that I'm learning as I go along. So why don't you DM me on Twitter and we'll talk about that, mate, because that sounds like a good opportunity for you to get involved. Where do you want to go to next game?
Or just be like me and don't wear glasses and then you're blind to them.
You can't see what's going on in the chat.
Anyway, so it don't matter. Well, while we've been in Manchester, let's stay in Manchester but head south to Leicester, shall we? So Leicester Man United.
Whoa. Right, so guys, this is something you guys need to know. Sam is born and bred London, right? Or just home counties London. As soon as you go above the M25,
now, hang on.
You haven't got a clue what you're on geography.
Right, no, I've not done anything wrong there because we've stayed in Manchester with the other Manchester side and we've headed south to Leicester. Leicester is below Manchester. I have got that right.
Yeah,
I'm right.
Sort of.
Stop being difficult.
South and a bit over, but...
Look.
Okay, all right, go on. Okay.
Is Leicester south of Manchester?
Yes. Okay, right, darling. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh, difficult tonight.
I thought you were going to stay in Manchester. I was about to talk about Bristol City, but maybe we'll come to that a bit later on.
Yeah, we can talk about that now. So
is it Leicester United?
Yes.
Oh, right. Okay, got it. As usual, guys, Sam has done all the prep for this. She's got all the stats. I was too worried about the technology. Does
anybody want to swap places with you? Because it's difficult. Right, Man United are away at Leicester this weekend.
There's people saying Leicester is south of Manchester. Yes, good.
Thank you. Thank you for backing me up. Right, so Manchester. Now, I think this is quite an interesting game. Obviously, it comes off the back of Manchester United's shock loss. Brilliant it was last night. I thoroughly enjoyed. Sorry to United fans listening, but I thought it was brilliant last night. I was having a whale of a time watching it.
Well, do you know what? I actually thought it was really interesting because Bristol City. I mean,
credit to Bristol City.
Yeah, but you know they are having a great season. They are third in the Championship. Going away to Bristol City was not easy.
No, and they're really good.
I think, personally thought that United got a little bit complacent. I think they got a little bit going there, and I think they thought that it was going to be a bit of an easy game.
Well, Bristol were on them right from the beginning of the game. They were right at it. They were having a go. They were really up for it. And I tell you what, I forget the name of the kid that scored that first goal, but my God, it was a worldie.
It's a worldie.
Absolute
What I will say
worldie.
is, and I saw some of the very, very short highlights on Sky Sports News earlier today. And, because of course you watched the game.
Because I watched it by myself.
But I watched some of the highlights on Sky Sports, and actually United hit the post, they hit a bar, a bit unlucky in the first half. But then, Zlatan gets the goal. And then you're thinking, well, okay, so United are just going to go on to win this, right?
No.
So for Bristol to kind of dig back in and get that's a fantastic performance. So
but how this all fits in with the Fantasy League, of course, is that the news coming after the game was that Manchester United's plane was grounded.
So you've read this and I haven't. Go on. So what's going on here?
So there's heavy fog in Bristol last night. Grounded the plane, meant they couldn't fly back to Manchester, which meant they had to go by coach. So according to the news this morning, they arrived back in Manchester at 5 o'clock this morning. Which
5 o'clock a.m.
Which obviously is not ideal prepreparation for Saturday's game.
Yeah, I bet Jose was loving that,
day's training and so forth. So you can imagine how Jose's mood as that from the final whistle to 5 o'clock in the morning. It would have just been gradually, well, actually, probably quite quickly.
Totally.
So there was that issue that they had to contend with.
So now they've got to go away to Leicester.
So now they've got
Sunday or Saturday?
No, Saturday. So
Saturday away.
It's just you, and then every game is on Saturday.
So that's going to throw them out. That
it is.
That 5 AM thing.
The evening game. So Saturday there's the lunchtime game, which is I believe Chelsea. Then Spurs are on at 5:30.
Okay.
And then Man United and Leicester are on at 7:45.
Oh, really?
So we've got 3 games.
7:45. Okay,
on Saturday.
Cool. All right, that's good.
Because obviously there's no game Sunday because Christmas Eve. So they've got a bit more time than the others because they're later on Saturday, but still, it's not ideal preparation at all.
So Saturday, 4 games Saturday?
No, 3 because you're on Friday night.
Oh, okay, right. Okay,
so 12 o'clock and 2 evening games.
Be a good game. So what are you making of the FPL assets in that game then? So for me...
Well, okay, so obviously Pogba's back.
And this is the reason why, and again, let's not get to transfers, but I was looking at Silva to Pogba, and I thought, well, if Pogba performs in that game against Bristol, because I was thinking, that's a tricky game, unlike the United players, I was thinking, that's a tricky game. If Pogba shows up in that game and he scores a goal, that proves he can come back in and hit the ground running. He didn't, and he actually, I don't know if I might have misseen this, but I don't know whether he might have been a bit lucky not to have been sent off again, by the way. I think it was a bit of a dodgy tackle that he did on one of the Bristol players. So I'm not kind of looking at that game thinking I'm desperate to get on Pogba. I definitely think Pogba's a really good asset. He's not going to be rotated across Christmas because he's just come off the back of a big rest. He's pretty integral to the way they play, so he's going to play for that reason. And he makes United tick. He makes Lukaku a better player, and he makes them just an all-round, generally a better side. So, what's your? Have you got a plan for Pogba, or are you not thinking Pogba at all?
No, I haven't got a plan.
No plan. Okay, I haven't great value at 7.9. Surely.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you. Got another new subscriber.
New subscriber, Hamish.
I don't have a plan yet for Pogba. He's as always. Pogba is on the radar. I mean, when he's fit, he's on my radar. To be honest, because he is. He's so important for how United play. I think he makes Lukaku more of an interesting asset in terms of fantasy league because his positioning, the way he is on the pitch.
I'll tell you what I haven't been doing, by the way. This just shows you guys. This is our first stream. I'm just getting used to doing this. I've got the whole, you see the browser thing here. So this is all, I say dynamic, but I can change this stuff. But I just haven't been because I've been so into the chat. So I've got it stuck on my team from last week, which at 44 points, guys, I should probably take that down, to be honest.
What were you going to put on there instead?
Well, I was going to maybe put on the fixtures or something, or have a look at, I don't know, let's have a look at transfers, because part of me wouldn't mind having a look at Richarlison to Pogba to see if I can do it. So let's see if I can do Richarlison to... it might not even be on the front page, Pogba. Right at the bottom. Let's see if I can do that. Look at that. Always a minus 0.1. What a joke.
I actually can't see, so for me, it probably is alright.
So minus 0.1 away from doing that. I don't think I would be doing that this week anyway, just because I think you've got to give Pogba a bit of time to get scoring again. Plus, I think Richarlison's a good option for the next few game weeks, but we'll come to that in a sec. So sorry guys, I should be doing more on the browser there on the left hand side, but Yeah, we're learning as we go along. It's the first one we've done.
I've lost my train of thought. Right, Lukaku. So yeah, I think Lukaku. I mean, Lukaku's an interesting one, right? So I obviously with the news about Morata and his yellow card yesterday, I obviously started to think about, you know, do I bench him, or do I make a transfer now? So I'm quite torn on this.
Okay.
As a decision, because in many ways I think just bench him. Because you don't want to get rid of him. So just bench him. Because you want him again for the game week after. But, as you all well know, if you've been watching us for a while now, I'm doing quite well in the cup this year. And I had a little look at the guy that I'm playing. And
You're not taking that really seriously
this year. Taking it really seriously this year because I got out of the first round. The guy I'm playing in the cup has actually got a really good side. And I just know that if I don't go into it, if I go into it with Morata on my bench, I'll go out the cup. So I'm trying to decide in my head what's more important to me, taking a risk to stay in the cup, or losing my free transfer effectively, because I'll be going back on it again next week.
What are you thinking of doing? Go on. Now
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Because so I looked at doing Aguero for a week, but I don't have enough money to do that. I looked at doing Lukaku for a week, but don't have enough money to do that.
Okay.
So it basically...
You looked at doing Lukaku for a week? So Morata to Lukaku?
Only to have a decent striking option. So basically it kind of leaves me with that sort of bracket around the Firmino, which I've already got, Rooney, who I've been talking about for a while now, or whether I take a punt on somebody like West Ham, because they're playing Newcastle, who look dire. Do I go for somebody like that for a week? So I'm a bit all over the place, and we can talk about it a bit more when I do transfers.
Okay.
But
so let's talk about this. So let's not deviate away from Leicester, Man City, Leicester, Man United. Where do you think the Premier League points first and foremost are going? Who are you backing in that game?
Oh, what a question.
Let's have a look at Leicester's home
form. I don't know,
form.
because Leicester have been all right lately. I know that they've had a few dodgy results, but they've been better lately.
Leicester's home form isn't too bad. Well, it's kind of mixed. Their last 3 games they've won 2 and lost 1, so it's a bit mixed at the King Power. And let's
can I go on the fence and go for a draw?
Yeah, I think you can. I think it is a tough one to call. United have won their last 3 away games according to this website here. So United's away form is good. I think that they will want to... I don't think that they're going to... This is United, right? I don't think they're going to let the Carabao Cup thing really get to them. Pogba's going to be back. He'll be a bit more up for that game, I suspect. It's going to be a bigger occasion. I think United will nick the points there. I think they'll find a way to nick the points. So that's where I'm going to go. FPL-wise, who's in your team? You got Jones? Are you going to play him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I am too. I don't know if I'm mega thinking he's definitely going to get a clean sheet, but...
I just think that I don't really have a better option.
Yeah, my defence is looking a bit shaky as well, so I'm
probably
going to stick on him.
I think he's a better option than some of the others I've got.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the next game. Where are you going to
go? Everton and Chelsea.
Okay, let's have a look at that.
Because that's another interesting game.
Just a quick word. So Andy's joined the stream. Hey Andy, how are you doing? We're going to try our best, mate, to finish at about 9 o'clock, because I think that's when you start. So we'll all the guys watching this, get over and follow Let's Talk FPL as well. Get on Andy's Twitter and on his YouTube channel, because there's some awesome stuff coming through there. So make sure that you're following Andy as well. So welcome, Andy. Thanks for joining.
Off as well, so that you can watch what Andy's going to do.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. No, yeah, spot on. I want to get off of this nonsense and listen to what a proper FPL manager's got to say. Yeah, you're totally right. You're totally right. Go on then. So where's the next game?
Well, let's talk about Chelsea, because we were just talking about Morata's ban, because I think that is going to be a big thing for fancy owners this week, isn't it?
So remind me of the Chelsea game. They're going to Everton,
so they're going to Everton.
See, that's really tough now. A few weeks ago, you'd have gone Chelsea, but now that's really tough.
I think so too. Yeah, it's the lunchtime game as well, so it's a... I think without Morata, I can't see it being, like, because you were talking about with Hazard earlier, I don't see Hazard having the same...
Didn't they in their last away game, didn't they go away to Huddersfield and win reasonably...
Yeah, but there's a difference between playing Huddersfield...
Convincingly.
Huddersfield at the moment and Everton at the moment.
I get that, but just the way that they played against Huddersfield, it was pretty dynamic. It worked reasonably well with Hazard. Don't get me wrong, I don't think that it made Hazard great from an FPL perspective because, as we said before, he becomes the workhorse. But it really allowed Alonso to shine. I would be loving Alonso. Every time Morata doesn't play, I fear for Alonso. I mean, I fear for Alonso anyway because I think he's a great asset. You've got him and I haven't even got any Christensens or anybody to cover the clean sheet. So it frightens me every time he gets forward, Alonso.
But I don't see a Chelsea clean sheet necessarily in that game.
No, I don't either, actually. Just because I think Everton are fit and firing. And what do you make of Rooney's kind of mini renaissance here? Because he's scored Rooney, like 4 in 5 games or something, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I think about 4 or 5 games ago I said we should all think about getting on Rooney, and you laughed. And now what's happened? He's gone on a little run.
Well, he's on pens, right?
He's on pens, and even with the missed pen in the week, he still, he still went on to get a hatful.
I saw a tweet, by the way, from somebody. Can't remember who it was, but it kind of went a bit sort of mini viral. And it said something like, this was before the game, before the Everton and Swansea game. And this guy had, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Fabianski. And he said, I don't really know, what I really want here, because if Dominic Calvert-Lewin scores and Fabianski loses the points or whatever, he said, maybe a Fabianski save with a Dominic Calvert-Lewin follow-up from
which
the
is
penalty.
exactly what you got.
Exactly what happened, and everyone was in it. Kind of went a bit mini viral and got retweeted a lot. So
will you play Kenny?
At home to Chelsea, I think I will actually, and that's not maybe because I'm expecting a clean sheet, but actually in the last game I watched him when they did play Swansea at home, he was. Let's not use words like marauding, but he was getting forward, wasn't he? And he got the assist for the penalty. No, listen, no. We're not about to put him anywhere near the Alonso bracket, but he does like to get forward. I think Everton are trying to play that kind of wing-back sort of system, I think, aren't they? So he doesn't look too bad in terms of maybe
I agree with you.
attacking points as well, maybe. I mean, he got a bit of a flaky penalty, wasn't it, I think? Or did he get fouled in the box or something for...
on Monday night?
Yeah, Rooney missed a penalty but also scored one. I can't remember. But either way, Kenny got an assist for that, and he was getting in dangerous position. So I think I will be playing John Doe Kenny, yeah.
Okay, because that's my potential transfer, I guess, this week is Morata to Rooney. I just don't know whether I want.
Well, let's talk about that because there's a couple of questions. Andy's been on and the physio's been on here talking about let's address this Morata thing then. So what are you doing? Are you selling or are you sticking?
I don't know.
That's not the right answer.
I think I might sell.
You think you might sell? Okay.
Right. Okay. So the position I'm in at the moment is I've done one of my free transfers this week, but I've got 2.
Okay. So you've got a transfer there.
I've got a transfer there to use if I
so choose. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And I was kind of keeping it for what I was hoping to make one transfer every week until the double game week, so then I could have 3 players in the double game week.
Okay.
That was my intention. But what I'm now thinking is, well, actually, do I use my transfer now to deal with Morata for this week? But then am I just bringing him back in again the week after? So that's what I need to decide is, for game week 20, do I want Morata? If the answer is yes, then I kind of feel I should leave him and bench him for game week 19. So
this is your team from last week. So you've got some reasonable hitters at the top there. So presumably you're going to go into the game week, obviously with Kane, obviously with Firmino. You could bench him, couldn't you? And play. You're going to have Sterling, right? And you could play Loftus. Who's Loftus-Cheek playing this game week? Palace are playing who?
Swansea.
Swansea.
Managerless Swansea.
Well, managerless Leon Britton as caretaker manager Swansea. I mean, and they're just coming off the back of one of their best away performances and wins of however long since God was a boy for Palace, didn't they?
Oh, I was thinking, what are you talking about? Swansea?
No, not Palace. Palace have just had a
did,
fantastic away performance.
Yeah.
Benteke looked as if he wanted to prove a few people wrong. But banned, yeah, quite right. I'd forgotten about that. Quite right. So maybe you temper that a little bit with the Benteke ban. You're right.
So what I need to do really with Morata, and I think what as a fantasy manager, what you need to do is think for game week 20. And I don't know who Chelsea have got in game week 20 because I haven't yet looked. You can tell me maybe who have Chelsea got next week.
Chelsea in game week 20. Chelsea in game week 20, and then Brighton at home.
Right. You see. So now for Brighton at home, I'd want Morata.
Yeah, totally.
So in my mind, really, this feels like a wasted transfer for one game week, unless I can make it massively pay off by picking a player who's guaranteed to score. Now, for me, if I'd have had the money, I'd have done Aguero. I'd have done Morata straight to Aguero because that makes sense. Aguero against Bournemouth no-brainer, really.
Yeah, a lot of people saying you need to get your money into midfield because you've got your Firmino, you've got Kane, you've got Morata. Is a Morata downgrade to somebody like I don't know, just a Dominic Calvert-Lewin or somebody, and getting that money into midfield for a KDB or something?
You have a little bit of a love affair with Dominic Calvert-Lewin.
Hey, listen, I think he's really good value for his money.
And
really, really good.
If I'm going into Everton up front, I'll be doing Rooney.
So Morata to Rooney then, 3 million.
Well, that's what I've been talking about for weeks, haven't I? That eventually was the plan, was to go from Morata downgrading to Rooney, which would allow me either a couple of million, to upgrade Tom Carroll, who I don't want.
So you could do Carroll to a 6 or a 7-ish midfielder, right?
Yeah, so my sort of planning longer term was that I could either upgrade somebody like Tom Carroll to somebody better like Pogba, with that money that I'm saving
to Pogba, okay, yeah,
with the money that I'm saving from Morata down to Rooney, but then Chelsea have got Brighton, and I'd be going into that game with just Alonso.
Okay.
Because I've got no Hazard.
Okay, so lots to think about then. So I think your answer to Morata is you're still thinking about it. I'm not on the fence at all. I'm absolutely keeping Morata. I think
because you want him for Brighton.
Yeah, but not just that, but then Stoke at home as well. And I think given that he's got this ban now, this 1-game ban, it is a bit of a nightmare. But there's a chance that he could have been rotated for one of those nice, easy home games. He could have played the Everton game, and then they might have been managing his injury for one of those 2 home games.
Yeah, that's true.
Now that he's missing the Everton game, I think he's just coming straight into those 2 plum home games, and he's going to stick him up top, and it's happy days. And actually, I think that makes Hazard a better option as well, because Morata's playing, and I've always said I think Hazard's a better option. So I'm not expecting big things from my Chelsea asset, from Hazard, and of course Morata this game week. Not expecting big things, which is a bummer, because they take up a lot of my transfer budget. But for the next 2 game weeks, Brighton at home, Stoke at home, I think you're going to get Morata. I think you're going to get a fit and rested Morata. You're going to get an enhanced Hazard because of that. And I think there's points there all day long. So I'm definitely sticking on Morata.
Well, given that we've just been talking about Benteke, should we move on to Swansea and Palace?
Yeah, go on then. A quick word on that. What's your take?
Well, only just really to say, I think Palace will win that game. Particularly as Swansea have got Bonnie injured. Even without Benteke on his ban and with Sacco injured, I think Palace will still be too much for Swansea.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because when teams sack their managers, it's kind of, you want to see what the reaction is, don't you? You'd like to think that with Clement going, there's a reaction there. And I saw some stats on Twitter that said, not just about the fact that Swansea are losing games, but there was something, they're like bottom for chances created and like bottom for shots on goal, and they've scored like Bonnie 10 goals all season or something. And then of course Bonnie goes off with a hammy at the beginning of the last game, which is like, what a nightmare for Clement. So it'd be interesting to see the reaction. It's their first home game without Clement. I think Leon Britton is being put in caretaker charge. So
interesting.
Again, I don't know. If I look at Leon Britton, he's a kind of, this is going to sound wrong, isn't it? But he's a kind of little guy. He's not very but he's not kind of like inspirational, is he? Do you know what I mean? When you hear him talk, he's not like going to get them going.
I don't think you can say that.
Well, of course I can. He's not a big character, is what I'm trying to say. That's the word I should have used 5 seconds ago. He's not a big character, Leon Britton. He might be tactically astute, and he might be a Swansea boy through and through. I understand that, and for the fans' sake,
might G them up a bit.
For the fans' sake, you want to see a Swansea through and through guy, Swans in the blood sort of guy, caretaker manager. I get that, but is he going to get in that dressing room at the weekend and fire them up to go and beat Palace? No. Whereas Palace are coming off the back of beating Leicester. Is it Leicester 3-0?
Yeah.
Yeah, they beat Leicester 3-0 coming into this game week. Okay, no Benteke, which is a bummer, because I think he was starting to give them a bit of shape up top, and Zaha was back into a position that he really liked. But I still think Palace are going to have too much for Swansea at the weekend. Okay. Too much. And I'm happy to be playing Ruben Loftus-Cheek this game week. Will you play him?
Yeah.
You play RLC?
Probably,
yeah, I think so.
Okay, so let's stick with teams that are missing key players this week then. West Ham, Lanzini's banned.
Yeah, again, a bit of a shame, because I say a bit of a shame. He dived, so it's not really a shame. He kind of got what was coming to him, really. Successful deception of the ref or whatever it is. That's a 2-game ban nowadays, so what can you do?
I feel a bit sad about it. I like Lanzini, as we all know now.
I do feel a bit sad about it, because he was starting to look really, really awesome, wasn't he, as an FPL asset?
The good thing is he'll be back for the double game week, so,
So this is it. So is it a 2-game ban?
Yes, I think his is 2, or is his 3?
I think it's 2. So you guys on the live chat, let us know. I think it's a 2-game ban.
It's a 2-game ban.
So if it's 2, then it's 2 and then it's a blank.
Yeah.
So then he's, like you say, he'd be coming into that double.
I seem to remember thinking it's all right because he'll be back for the double game week. So if you wanted him for the double game week, he'll be available again.
Okay, all right. So Lanzini, for want of a better phrase that we've never used on this pod, on the radar for the double game week.
I think the only other thing to say about that game potentially is obviously it's Newcastle who I don't give them much hope.
They play Newcastle at home.
Don't give them any hope.
Well,
that's what I'm saying about do I fancy a Morata to a really cheap. Go cheaper up front and go to
Chicharito or somebody potentially.
Somebody West Hammy.
Even he's not. Even he's a bit of a rotation risk, so he's not starting the last game or whatever. So do you go him? I think the players that you do have a look at are their defenders.
Well, it's Ogbonna.
So Ogbonna and Masuaku are really I think they are good value in that West Ham defence. I've had a look at the stats. Masuaku is getting far more advanced than Ogbonna, so he is kind of, again, we're not putting him in the Alonso bracket and we're not calling him marauding, but he is getting forward into those dangerous wing positions. But then at the same time, Ogbonna is a bit more of a bonus points magnet. He's a bit more kind of key passes sideways and things like that, and pass completion rates. So if you're looking for a clean sheet, if they get a clean sheet, you might get 1 or 2 bonus points, then it's Ogbonna. If you're looking for, a bit more of an attacking threat, then it's probably Masuaku, I would say. The other thing to consider, by the way, sorry to interrupt you.
Sorry?
The other thing to consider is that Jose Fonte will be coming back at some stage. Now, will Ogbonna lose his place for Fonte? Don't know enough about the dynamic of that West Ham back line, but I suspect that maybe some rotation there. So one to look out for.
I would just wanted to say, before he accuses me later of stealing his ideas, I do have the West Ham team on my phone because one of them will be my jammy pick, and now he's just talked about the 2 that I was talking about.
Oh well, do you want to do jammy pick
now?
No,
I don't want to.
I can get it on the screen, right?
No, I
can do it dynamically.
No, we'll do it at the end. I've told you it's coming out of West Ham, so there you go. Right, I just think West Ham will be
remind me then when we do it.
Yeah, I'll remind you. I just think the West Ham will have too much for Newcastle, is what I'm saying there.
Somebody was saying before that because this is what's on the stream right now is your team, and everyone's packing money into midfield. It's a power 5 in midfield. There's your 2. Richarlison and Salah. But listen.
Yeah, but that's because of the substitution. So I did play Silva.
Yeah. And who's on the bench? 6 and 5. Loftus-Cheek and Carroll. It's a disaster. Hey, listen. You've got 56, which is way more than I got last week. So
yeah, I'm beating you. So just be quiet.
You are absolutely ahead of me, man. I'm saying nothing. Go on, next game. Because we're already 47 minutes into this one.
We?
But I must admit, I'm enjoying this immensely, guys. So as usual, as I said it before, thank you for joining us. I think this is great. We've got 73 people watching.
Have we?
I knew we'd go over time today, right? We waffle at the best of times, but I knew we'd be going into sort of hour territory, didn't you? I did think that.
The thing is, you did pre-approve that because you said to me, and I
pre-approve.
Quote, you said to me, and I quote, because normally it goes, stop talking so much because we need to be done in half an hour. You said it won't be as bad this time because I'm not editing. So if you talk too much, it's not the end of the world. Is that not what you said?
I might have said something like that. And
Okay,
I have to stop you for 1 minute because our friend Zane has joined the live chat. Zane, good evening. How are you doing, buddy? We actually just reviewed the Everton and Chelsea game. So if you're just joining us, Zane, be sure to go and watch the replay on YouTube later on and find out what Sam said. Some terrible things about Chelsea, by the way. Terrible things.
What did I say about Chelsea? Don't! I didn't say anything bad about Chelsea.
Go back and see what we think about Everton and Chelsea. Go on.
Such a nightmare.
Let's move on. Game.
Brighton and Watford. Let's talk about them because there's a lot of bans and injuries there, isn't there? So Duffy's banned for Brighton, Decore and Ziegler still banned for Watford.
Ziegler's still banned? When's he back?
I think he's back next game week.
Okay.
Decore is now banned.
Okay.
And had his game ban enhanced, didn't he? I think. Was it him that had to put up by an extra game because he appealed it and they said no?
I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe.
One of them.
Maybe.
Anyway, so I think that can make for interesting reading. I'm going to be sticking with Richarlison in that game because I think I think he's got to come good sooner or later. He's going to put away these chances, surely. So
I just want to have a look at the fixtures because one of the things that I've considered over certainly this game week and something one of the players I would look to get rid of to make a space for Pogba is Richarlison, and clearly we demonstrated earlier that I'm 0.1 away. But next week could be a week that I look to get Pogba because I do think Pogba is for Christmas. I think it's an absolutely good thing. However, let's have a look at the Watford fixtures. So it is Brighton away, as we know this game week. Here we go. This is our dodgy bandwidth thing here coming in. So we got and then they're home to Leicester, which is not a bad fixture. Home to Swansea, which is a great fixture.
Unless Swansea have got a new manager.
Okay, unless the new manager comes in and G's them up, yeah, but assuming it's still Leon Britton, then it's a great fixture. Man City away, which is clearly not a great fixture, and then Southampton at home. So actually, the Watford fixtures, let's go back to where we were, the Watford fixtures actually look, apart from that City game, really good. So if I was to get rid of Richarlison for Pogba or anybody else, it would be very reluctantly. I think very reluctantly. And a transfer that I would not be that keen to do, which is stupid, really, because whenever you're doing an FPL transfer, you want to do something that you definitely are. I want to do that. You've got an injury to sort out or a problem to sort out. Richarlison out right now feels like a bit of a. It does. Feels like a bit of a silly transfer.
But the problem is that he's been so wasteful lately. Every time you sit and watch Watford or watch the Watford highlights.
Yeah, sure.
It's just him missing opportunity after opportunity after opportunity, and it's so frustrating as a fantasy manager to sit.
He is one of the most frustrating FPL assets.
Absolutely,
so much potential. He could be double figures every week. But...
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And it's so frustrating because actually you look at other players that are in that rough sort of price bracket, or add a little bit more onto him, who you could have, and but then you look at Watford's fixtures and you go, but
yeah. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Dom quite rightly is saying in the chat right now that Richarlison plays better when Gray is up front for Watford. So as we know, Troy Deeney is out for 2-3 game weeks, whatever he's out for, because he got another red card at the weekend. So he's out for a bit. Andre Gray is going to get a bit of a run in the team, right?
It's Deeney's ban that went up because they appealed it.
Okay, yeah, cool. Okay,
they appealed it. Yeah.
So, with Deeney out, does that make Richarlison a better option? And I think Dom's absolutely right. I think it does.
I'm keeping him for now, sure.
Yeah, I think Gray is far more mobile than Deeney. I mean, Deeney's a bit more of a leader on the pitch, I guess, and he's a bit more up and at him, if you like. But Gray is far more mobile, far more pace. And his movement should create some space in the same way that a Firmino or a Morata does. It should create more space for Richarlison. That is a good shout by Dom. I think it's a good shout. I'd be keeping Richarlison on, not just for fixtures, but on the basis of that as well.
Okay. Right. My shout for the weekend. This
Go
is
on.
the
Go
week
on. We're listening.
where Team Rondon wins.
Oh, don't.
Yeah.
Don't.
We are. Stoke.
Not with Rondon doing anything. You just think West Brom are going to beat Stoke.
With Rondon.
With Rondon.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Right. Why? Go on. I want to hear some. I want to hear some scientific FPL statistician evidence behind this, or is this just a feeling?
It's a feeling.
It's a feeling. It's always a feeling with Rondon. It's never any statistical evidence. It's always just a feeling.
I don't know if we should say that either. It's always a feeling with Rondon.
Oh, well, I don't know. The boys at Who Got the Assist, by the way, gave us a bit of a shout out on their pod this week when they did Neon Watch.
Did they say we could have the point?
No, they categorically said that we cannot have that point. So they are still apparently 2-0 up, which I have to agree with. I think Rondon's done nothing for the last 2 weeks. So go on then, talk to us about that game from an FPL perspective.
West Brom are going to win.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look at some of the form behind that, because I would like to put some sort of evidence behind this rather than just feelings.
Okay, so the last game week they lost.
So West Brom haven't won away in their last 6.
Yeah, but Stoke, they're terrible. They lost their last game 3-0.
That's true. Yes, this is true. They have lost their last 3 games. In fact, they've only won 1 of their last 6. So I think badly out of form.
It's Rondon's week.
But West Brom, look, they are even
but they're a bit orange. No, they're a bit orange.
They can't score goals, Sam, West Brom. Since Pardew come along, what happened last game week?
What?
I think they scored. I think they got beat by United, I think, didn't they? And didn't Barry scored, didn't he? I think. Yeah, there you go. Look, so Barry scored against United. So there's no mean feat to score against United. I get that, but that was maybe only the first or second goal under Pardew. They are nowhere near creating enough chances to go away to Stoke, who are reasonably difficult side to go away to and get a result. So
let's see on Saturday night, because I think that West Brom are going to win that game, and I think Rondon's going to score.
I think that's got 0-0 written all over that game, or a 1-0.
All right, then you're going to play Foster then. Do you still have Foster?
I still have Foster, but I've got Gomez as well. Do I fancy a Watford clean sheet away at Brighton? Not really. Maybe more than I do a Foster clean sheet at Stoke. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Okay. But I can't. One thing's for sure. That is not first on match of the day. Is it?
You've heard it here first. I think it's going to be a point for Team Rondon this week.
Okay, all right.
Where haven't we been yet? Southampton and Huddersfield. Kachunga's injured until March. Bad injury for him.
Which is a shame because he scored a great goal, didn't he, that last game week?
He did.
So to go off injured was a bit of a bummer, yeah.
So that's a real shame. I would say, obviously, we were talking, and I laughed at you last week when you were talking about, should we put these Huddersfield players on the radar? Should we get them all back in?
Right, so loads of people talking about De Poitre. Loads of people talking about De Poitre. Go on. So you're talking about Morata down to somebody really, really cheap to free up some funds for a Pogba or somebody sexy in midfield. De Poitre's your man. Got to have a look at him. And let's remind ourselves of the Huddersfield fixtures. I'm not going to do what I just did on the screen again because that was a bit of a nightmare. I'm just going to read off the ticket here. So Southampton away, Stoke at home, Burnley at home, Leicester away, West Ham at home. It doesn't get any better than that for Huddersfield. De Poitre has got to be worth a look. If you're not got a Dominic Calvert-Lewin already, a proper cheapie, De Poitre's got to be worth a look. You're not convinced by that, are you?
No.
At the end of the day, it's Huddersfield.
I totally understand why you're not convinced by getting any Huddersfield players. I'd like to be proved wrong. Huddersfield fans, I would.
Somebody's just said you've got more chance of Pardew scoring than Rondon. I think I'm spot on with that, by the way.
Who said that about our beloved Rondon?
Off the line has said that. Yeah, it's spot on.
Not happy about that at all.
Might get a little dance out of Pardew. You never know.
I feel like, yeah. I'll tell you what. I'm coming back on it. Who was it?
Off the line.
Right, I'm going to write your name down. Next time we're live.
You can tell you're an ex-teacher. I'm going to write your name down. You'll be in detention if Rondon
That's a warning.
Go on. So let's talk. So let's go back to the Huddersfield game.
But I don't know. Bertrand's a doubt for Southampton this week. He's a key. Cat sneezing. He's a key part of the Southampton defence, which is shaky at the best of times this season.
Some of the feedback we're getting on here, by the way, is that De Poitre may be a bit of a rotation risk with
Meunier. You see, look, you're trying to sell me these players.
Well, Quana, or whatever his name is, he seems to be less of a rotation risk, according to the guys on chat. This is how much we know about Huddersfield. This is why we do these live streams, right, to get some interaction. So maybe De Poitre is not the one to have this game week. I don't know. Maybe it's Quana or
Moy, who got 2 goals last game.
Or maybe Moy. Maybe Moy's a bit better. I don't know. So go on then. So Huddersfield. Let's move on from Huddersfield.
Well, we've only got one game left, and you'll be surprised that we've actually left this one till last.
We haven't talked about Spurs yet, have we?
But it's Spurs. So Burnley versus Spurs. Now Tarkowski's bound.
Tarkowski.
That was a real tongue twister then. Yeah, I didn't even say banned right.
Yeah.
He's banned this game week, which could help us out in terms of beating.
So let's address this, and I don't want to spend loads of time on it. The Kane exit versus Kane remain.
There's no point in even asking me the question.
You are 100% a Kane remain.
Yeah. What's the point in asking the question?
Okay, so you're 100% a Kane remain. I am.
Might even captain him.
Oh my God! What? Against Burnley?
Why not?
Burnley don't concede though.
They will.
I think they've conceded about 3 goals at home all season, so that is a tough game to captain Kane. Are you serious about this captain Kane, or are you surely going to go for a City player, or surely Salah maybe, but not Kane?
I'm seriously thinking about Kane.
Okay, well I think you're in the minority there, so it's not a bad differential if you want to go there. But this is why Jay and some of the other guys are talking about getting off of Kane, because if you can't. If you're going to have a 12.8 player in your team and you're away at Burnley and Burnley have got defensive issues and you're not going to captain him, which is the general feeling amongst the FPL community, why have you got him? 12.8 and you can't captain him in that scenario. It seems ridiculous. So,
but I might captain him.
I'm with you. I don't know if I'm with you, but I understand. Why you might want to captain him. So
I just feel like we've not been in the better places of late. Had a mixed season so far. Burnley are really good at home, but they're really good at home as a unit together. With a cog missing, there might be an opportunity to break them down.
This happened earlier in the season, so Heaton gets injured, Pope comes in, they're still good. Me got injured recently, somebody else come in, they're still good. So it's the way they play, it's their system. It's not because they're missing a couple of people. It's just the way that Burnley play. They're a cohesive unit at the back there.
They are. I do agree. However, I'm whether I'm actually going to captain Kane or not, I don't know. But he's certainly on my list of options for captaincy this week.
All right. Okay. So I'm not thinking of captaining Kane, but clearly I'm going to keep him. Probably because I've got other things to figure out. Because the Morata thing, I'm still potentially maybe downgrading him to upgrade. And again, that feels like you know, if I was going to sell him, I don't think Morata, because I do want him for those next two. If I was, then I'm going to get him back. And it feels a bit the same with Kane. If I sold him, I'd want him back again in a couple of game weeks.
And this is how I feel. It would be... Well, I'm not even thinking about getting rid of Kane, but with Morata, I feel very much the same. If all I'm going to do is get him back again in a game week's time, I'm just wasting a transfer. Two transfers.
Yeah, it feels like transfers for transfer's sake, doesn't it?
I agree, yeah.
Okay.
I don't normally agree, but I do with this.
Okay, I can see you keeping a clean sheet in that game, though. Burnley don't score very many, and you are defensively usually pretty sound.
And the other thing to say is that Sanchez is back from his ban, and that will make a massive difference to us. Because obviously with Toby out, having had Sanchez out as well, we've been really poor at the back. Lots of changes around, Aurier playing instead of Davis and so forth, and it's just not really worked for us. So hopefully with Sanchez back, we'll see a better Spurs defence. Like you say, Burnley don't score that many goals, so hopefully we'll be alright.
Alright. Okay, so I think that's all the games, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's everything covered. So let's talk about transfers, captains, and jammy picks. I think we've covered a lot of this already. Go on, your transfer.
I've got 2 free transfers this week. I've done Silva to Sterling on the basis that I don't think Silva's going to play any part in this game, and I also don't think he's going to play any part in the Boxing Day game. I can't see that happening. So that's what I've done. I think, and I keep changing my mind on it, and I'll probably still be changing my mind tomorrow night, but I think I'm going to hold on Morata and therefore hold on my second free transfer.
Okay, all right. So I'm thinking similar to you. I either do a sideways thing, Silva to Sterling, and there's a lot of Sterling captainers out there this game week, so to not have Sterling at all for this game week is a risky strategy, in my opinion.
Presumably Sterling will also probably be the highest transferred in player this week, and therefore probably blank.
And therefore maybe have the curse, right? Maybe have the curse. Let's see. Hopefully not. So it could be a bit of a sideways move, but it would feel like an all right one to do, with a view to maybe getting Silva back at a later stage.
Or are you doing the hokey cokey and getting KDB back again?
Well, potentially, because with the whole Morata thing, do I get Morata out and bring KDB in? But then I do want Morata back next week, so... For me, I think it's going to be a really boring, I'm sorry to say it, a really boring sideways move from Silva to Sterling.
But that's what most people are doing.
It feels like a very sensible thing to do. It means I'm going into the Man City game with an asset that I think is going to do well. I can bench Morata knowing that Calvert-Lewin and Loftus-Cheek... Calvert-Lewin at home to Chelsea could do something, for sure. And Ruben Loftus-Cheek away at a pretty terrible Swansea could definitely do something.
Okay.
So I'm kind of happy to stick there. Captain is a really interesting one. So for me, it's between Salah and, if I bring him in, Sterling. We've said before about the impact that Salah might have in that Arsenal game in terms of, Arsenal, the sort of team that Liverpool like to play against. They will come out and play. And therefore, that the Fab Four at the front should do some damage, in my opinion. We can absolutely concede to Arsenal as well, by the way, so that's why I think there's goals in that game. So that's why I'm staying well clear of any defensive assets. But Salah, for me, or indeed a rested Mane, or indeed an informed Coutinho, all 3 of those could be good captain picks this game week, in my opinion. So that's me. Between those two...
so I think your top points
probably Salah, actually.
And I think your top points pick is harder this week, actually.
It is, but I think you've got to go to the standout game. I think you've got to go to Man City and talk about the Bournemouth game. And for me, and I hear in chat that
Aguero,
a lot of people going on Aguero, and for me, I think he is going to come back to the party. And again, we'll be sitting here probably next week talking about, do we get Aguero back in? And Kane's got a blank coming up. Do you get Aguero? And we'll be going back on this hokey cokey with him and Jesus. I still think he's too much of a rotation risk to have. But as a one-off top points pick for this game week, he's rested, didn't play in the Carabao Cup, rested. All right, he's nursing this heel injury or whatever it is. But I think he's going to start. I think Jesus will be benched, start on the bench. KDB is going to be bombing forward because there's no Silva. There's penalties galore with Sané and Sterling about. I think so. Aguero, my top points pick, and if I had him, I think I would captain him. Okay. So he's my top points pick, Aguero, for this game week. Jammy picks. Let's see.
Right, so I think I'm going to go put West Ham up.
Go on then, let's have a look.
So I think this week...
Bear with me, guys.
Technology's going to...
Transfers, here we go, transfers, and then we're going to go to West Ham, right?
I think this week I'm going to go for Ogbonna at West Ham.
As a jammy pick?
Yes, he fits the categories perfectly.
Yeah, but no attacking threat though, right?
Yeah.
A bit of attacking threat?
Without Lanzini... So if you look at them...
Goals scored all season 0. Assists... Oh no, hold on. Goals scored 1. Assists 0. So he's got 1 goal all season.
Yeah, well...
Against City, by the way.
Yeah, but by the way, this is the point of this, isn't it? Is that he's a jammy pick because I pick him before he does something. In the same way that I did with Lanzini, who'd done nothing and you all sort of laughed. And then since then, it's my one
okay,
jammy pick.
He's 3.79, so you can have Ogbonna. Feels like a bit of a boring one though, Sam.
Well, you feel a bit boring sometimes, but I'm still sat here next to you, aren't I, my darling?
Oh, goodness me, I can't believe that's been said. I would go with somebody, I mean, what about Mikel Antonio, right? 0.3 owned Antonio.
Whose damn pick is it?
We do this every week, sorry guys, we do this every week. Before we film, normally we have a massive row about jammy picks. What's actually happening is we're just doing it live on air this week.
So it's my jammy pick, and I want to have Ogbonna this week.
You want to have Ogbonna, okay, well, if hypothetically speaking, I was going to have a jammy pick and I was going to stick to West Ham, I would have a look at Antonio. 0.3% owned. Who are they playing? Remind me.
Newcastle.
Ah, yeah, absolutely. So what a great fixture to have a West Ham asset in, because Newcastle look pretty bad.
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I want a West Ham asset. and I can't have have Lanzini for two reasons. One, he's banned, but also two, because he's already been my jammy pick.
Okay, all right. So we'll go with Ogbonna then as the jammy pick. Let's have a look on live chat. Let's see what people are saying about jammy pick.
They'll probably be agreeing with you.
There's no one saying Ogbonna. What a surprise. Ogbonna rising in price tonight. Okay,
see?
Jammy pick is in the squad, so people have got Ogbonna. That's good. People say Masuaku. So a lot of people thinking West Ham is not a bad place to go for a jammy pick.
Yeah, because he's another option, I think, at West Ham, definitely.
Yeah, definitely. If you had Aguero, you'd captain him instead of Salah. If you had Aguero, would you captain him instead of Salah? I think I would, actually.
Yeah, I would.
I think I would, Bram. Yeah, absolutely. So let's just take... I think we're pretty much done in terms of content, aren't we? So why don't we just take a couple of minutes just to talk about some questions on here. So let's have a look. Some questions. Have you got any questions, guys? Send them over.
We'll try and agree on it as well, not just have an argument about which one.
Just do the hokey cokey with Kane and Morata around the blank. Yeah, but it's kind of transfers for transfer's sake. We kind of just said that, didn't we? But if you've got the transfers in hand, then yeah, maybe. What else we got here?
There's also team value to think about, isn't there, with hokey cokey?
Kane will forever stay in my team, says Kevin Bainham, but I'm definitely not sticking the captain armband on him every week like I used to. But he's forever in my team, so that's made you very happy.
I've got a friend.
Rashford, is he an option? Rashford. What's their game this game week? They're going to Leicester, aren't they? And then they're at home to Burnley and Southampton. So the fixtures look all right for United. Does Rashford become an option now? Or has he been an option? For me, I think we've got to see a bit more from him, you know? I mean,
would you have him over... Because there's Martial as well.
Yeah, plus you're probably going to want Pogba for Christmas.
And then and then there's Pogba for Christmas. And then there's the Lukaku and Ibrahimovic thing. I don't know. It feels a little bit like there's a lot of rotation problems there.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, especially around this time of year, I'd maybe just rein that in a bit on Rashford. Last question, guys, because it's a really good one by Amwinit, is Sacco as a jammy pick at 0.1. So Sacco by, I assume he means the Crystal Palace Sacco.
No, he's injured.
Is he?
Yeah, he's not playing this game.
He scored an absolute worldie last game week for Palace.
Hang on.
Don't get your Saccos mixed up.
No, look, he's injured for Palace. He won't play this week.
That's Sacco with an H. That's the defender Sacco,
the other
is
one.
It not?
Yes. Hang on, which Sacco are we talking
Bakary
about? There's
Sacco.
far too many Saccos in this game.
I think the one that's...
Which one are we discussing?
The one we're talking about here, the one that Amwinit's talking about is...
is the one without the H?
Right, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So he'll play this week.
So this is the Crystal Palace
Sacco.
Fine. And this is the guy that's, I think, a midfielder in FPL, but because Benteke's not up front, sometimes Sacco plays up front and actually scored a beautiful goal. If you've seen it yet, curled it right top corner. Great goal last game week. So, Bakary Sacco. So I think that's a good jammy pick, 0.1. I like the sound of that. And on it, that's good. Cool, all right. Any more comments before we call it a close? Other than to say... Thank you guys for joining us. It's been really good fun. Really, really good fun. An hour and 8 minutes. It's the longest we've ever done, right? And with good reason, I think, because it's been really great fun interacting with you guys too. I mean, it's not that it's not been great fun for the last however many months talking to you, my dear, doing these videos. But it's really great to get interactive with you guys. We hope that this is one of many streams to come, right? The technology has not failed us, which I'm absolutely flabbergasted by the way.
And actually, now we know how you know how it works. You can use it a bit better next time.
Yeah, so the one thing I probably need to do more is be a bit more dynamic with this browser on the left-hand side. I'll get a few tabs open and we'll start putting some tweets up and some stats up and stuff like that. So apologies for not being that dynamic there. But the chat, I think, has worked all right. The video is working all right. It hasn't dropped out. There's so many points of failure here. We've got this dodgy webcam app. We've got my pretty old laptop, which sounds like it's taking off. Can you hear it?
It
it's
does.
Like where it looks like it's about to take off. Our dodgy, broadband at home here, which is flaky at the best of times. So there's so many points of failure. I'm absolutely amazed. We've got for a minute and an hour and 9 minutes.
All right.
It's great.
So this is another thing to discuss. Then is, are we doing this again on Saturday night? Because we haven't got very long to film and edit before Christmas Eve.
Well, this is the beauty of streaming.
So shall we live stream again on Saturday?
Well, this is the beauty of streaming, is that actually there's no editing involved, right? This just goes straight onto YouTube.
Because also, given that the last game is at 7:45, we could live stream during the second half.
Live stream during that 7:45 game. That's potential. We could do that.
Second half, perhaps.
We could do that.
Otherwise we won't get anything. We won't get anything done before the Boxing Day games.
Okay. All right. So there's a few of you guys saying that we need some mods. So yes, you're spot on. I'll be on the scout for some mods, not on FF Scout, but I'll be looking on Twitter for some scouts. So if you guys follow us on Twitter at FPL Family, I moderate the Twitter handle. So DM me, follow me, and DM me on there, and let me know if you'd be up for helping us moderate some of these things, because that is definitely some feedback we will take on board for this. So, thank you guys for joining us. FPL Batman, I will see you on Twitter. Kev Bainham, thank you from across the pond. Good man, thank you for joining us. Not sure what hour it would be across the pond. Depends if he's
behind
West Coast,
us.
West
They'll
or
be
East
behind
Coast, I
us either
suppose.
way.
Oh, during the day, so probably all right. So, Kev, get back to work, for goodness sake. What are you doing? Thank you for joining us, guys. As usual, get on to at FPL Family on Twitter, at FPL Family on Instagram, and we will see you again on Saturday night after game week 19. Leave all your comments below. Let us know what your transfers and jammy picks are. Get onto Twitter, take part in there as well, and we look forward to carrying on the discussion with you on there and on our next live stream on Saturday. All right, it's a good night from me.
And me.
Cheers,
Bye,
guys. See you next time.
Bye.